Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to episode 38 of All the Gear But No Idea with Rhodey and Diz. Rhodey, good to be with you, mate.
Always good to chat fishing, Baldy.
Yes, it's excellent to be here once again. Good to get back into our normal sync without COVID providing us an interruption, isn't it?
Yeah, we're hanging on by a thread here in SA, I reckon.
We absolutely are.
Don't want to jinx it, but we're just staying clear.
Yeah, so tune in because you just never know when we might go into a little bit of a lockdown.
Anyway, make the most of it while you can. Get out there and go fishing.
That's right. Rhodey, let's roll into the oranges and lemons for the fortnight that's been, mate. What's been the highlight?
Look, Diz, I'm going to say we've been waiting for a number of months for the South Australian barrels, the 100 kilo tuna to fire up.
Yes.
And looking for a little window of opportunity for us to get down there.
Yes.
Now, I haven't found a window to get down there yet. We could probably go on this weekend, but the weather wasn't really playing the game.
Yes, true.
But the barrels are here.
Yes, they certainly appear that way, mate. And we're not going to sort of be out there sort of professing to be, amazing fishermen at these species, but certainly something we've been keen to try, especially seeing as we've got the new boat, we should be able to get amongst them.
And there's a fair few reports starting to come through, so we'll keep our eyes peeled. We're hoping we'll chat about a bit of a barrel guru later on in the fishing report.
Yes,
we're going to get on next week.
Yes, we will.
But anyway, Diz, good to see the barrels fire up.
Yes, that's right. And Rhodey, look, we've talked about a bit of an escape towards the end of this year, late October, early November, and something we've been keen to do is go and check out the Eyre Peninsula. So it's been nice to sort of book in that week and get it all organised. Do a bit of shark cage diving in Lincoln will be nice.
Yep, and over to Streaky Bay.
So that's probably been my orange, just getting that in the calendar, because there's certainly no Melbourne, New South Wales, ACT, Queensland, or anywhere else holidays on the horizon for us.
No, we should do a shout out to all the listeners though, guys. Send us through your tips.
Yes.
Any GPS marks for Streaky Bay are accepted.
Yes.
Any must-do locations, fishing tips, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in touch with us. All right, Rhodey, let's move on to the lemons, mate.
All right, Diz, we got out for a fish the other weekend.
Yes.
Only a brief fish. We're under strict time constraints to get back for a birthday lunch.
We were. It was a hasty trip.
It was a horrible trip, mate. We caught nothing. Well, I did. I caught 2 whiting. Dizzy, how many did you get?
I was chasing other species.
You didn't even do
I got into the red mullets.
You didn't even do well on them.
Nah, I did all right.
Anyway, weather was good.
Yeah, it was
fishing was ordinary. Yeah. And we talked ourselves up into being bloody good fishermen lately.
Yeah, we've not striked lately.
So our last trip was a lemon for me.
Yeah, we might have been down in the dumps. All right, Rhodey. Well, my lemon for the fortnight that's been is a bit of a COVID-related one.
Yeah.
I've had a new car on order.
Yeah.
Bad news about the Thailand factory that make Hiluxes.
Oh.
It's closed down for
COVID's
3 months.
Has it?
Yes.
So the cheese grater's coming to Eyre Peninsula?
The cheese grater is going to the EP. I think so. Yeah, not good news on that front.
I hope it doesn't get bogged in the main street of Streaky Bay.
We might be in strife.
That'll be
a few tractors around the place. So yeah, not too good. But anyway, moving right along from the oranges and lemons, really, we've dwelled on that enough. Let's get into the merch, because we have got some stuff in the pipeline in the way of new caps, which I know our good friend of the show, Dan Way, will be thrilled about.
He's keen as. So One Rundle Trading Co. We're getting onto some grey caps this time.
Yes.
So we're just in the design phase.
Yes.
I've
brainstorming.
I've had my crayons out.
Crayons. Got the whiteboard out.
Yeah, so it's going to be good. New
some
caps.
Pros, some cons.
And we're also got some stubby holders, different colour combinations in the pipeline too.
Yep, we do.
And we'll touch on that one in a later episode, but the gentleman who's helping us out with them he's got a great side hustle that will feature in another episode.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. We'll look forward to that, Rody.
Yes, always.
Okay, Rody. Well, look, that gets out the formalities, as we like to call it, and let's just get stuck into the fishing news this week, because there's been a bit going on, and we do want to get into that before we get to our very special guest.
Have we mentioned the guest yet, Diz?
Well, should we keep it to ourselves until we get there?
I think we might have put it on social media, actually. So, anyway, we are chatting with David Basham a bit later on in the episode. I think normally that falls on the responsibility of whoever introduces the show. So I think that was you today, Diz, and I think that slipped your mind.
Anyway, we look forward to having a chat with you. But let's, on the fishing news, so we touched on this probably about a month or so ago now, Rody.
Yep.
A massive amount of fish washed up at Tumbie Bay, I'm sure you recall.
Yep, I do.
And naturally there was environmentalists and specialists in the field, scientists, to try and ascertain exactly what caused that significant amount of fish death on the beach and wash up. And look, I can't really report anything for you on that front because they still don't know.
Oh, this is a good news story, Diz.
It's unknown, Rady.
So you've told us nothing that we didn't tell the listeners 2 episodes ago.
Yes, but it's been further investigated, Rady. And it's been suggested that this happens from time to time. Environmental factors play a role, and they're an unknown cause.
Yeah, good, Diz, good.
Rody, what else is happening?
Now, you were doing some reading. It's rare that you do some reading in preparation for this show. But this is a report from Queensland Fisheries, Diz. What did you find for us?
So the Queensland Fisheries commissioned a report basically to establish some spending within the sector and what that means, what the recreational fishing sector means to the Queensland economy.
Yeah.
And it was a direct injection of more than $138 million.
Yeah, but it also talked about the flow-on benefits,
That's
Diz.
right. There's more than just that direct, and we know that because we've talked about it a number of times. So there was $195 million on flow-on benefits. So that totaled 333 point something million in money generated within the economy, which is exceptionally good to see. And that sort of thing, although those numbers won't directly relate to South Australia, it's a good example of the kind of thing we're talking about, and something which a bit of research gone into that in our state wouldn't go astray, right?
Yeah, and interesting here, Mr. Furner, who's the Queensland Fisheries Minister, he said on top of that $333 million that recreational fishers, they also travel to their spots, stay in hotels, buy petrol, book airline seats, and take their family. So you can see where it all comes from.
Yeah.
And interesting as well, Diz, I'm just reading here, the report has suggested that the COVID-19 pandemic has created a 0.4% increase in spending within the sector.
That's impressive.
So I suppose no one can go overseas, so they're going fishing.
Yeah, well, why not?
So anyway, that would be one of the few areas of industry, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll be on the up.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's good. So, I know that's not directly South Australian related, but...
good to know anyway.
Yes, good to see that research being done. Rody, what do you got for us?
Tiz, the Marfac.
Yes.
We're going to talk with David Basham about this.
Yes, we are.
But up for election.
Yes.
So there's 4 positions are available, including at least 1 member from the South East.
Yep.
And members will be appointed for a 2-year term.
Okay.
So if you would like to nominate, go to yoursay.gov.au/fishing. Nominations close at midday on Friday, the 17th of September 2021. And there's also a nomination handbook to make sure you're eligible and to help you submit your nomination.
Yes. No, that's good. Have you put yours in?
Not yet, mate. I'm still sort of writing up my list of, pros and cons of having me on.
Surely the cons would be longer.
Well, the pros would be I'll catch more fish than them all.
Oh, whack. That's a huge call.
Am I allowed to say that?
Doubtful at best too, might I add. Righto, Roddy, let's move on from that, mate. What's been happening over at the Port Lincoln desal plant?
This is interesting, Diz. So the SA Water is looking for a plan for a new desal plant in that region, the Port Lincoln Eyre Peninsula region. And that is to improve the water security in the area and cater for population growth. And interestingly, Port Lincoln is currently supplied by groundwater
Okay.
and also the River Murray.
Right.
And I would say, I don't know about your geographical knowledge, but Port Lincoln's a fair way from the River Murray. So that's a big old pipe, as far as I can tell.
You reckon they get it carted over there in water tankers?
No, I just think it's a big pipe. So, interestingly, there's some talk that the Yulee Basin has been burdened and is at tipping point. So that's part of the sort of reasoning behind this push for a desal plant. But there's some backlash about this, Diz.
Right.
So there's some talk. So Flinders University oceanographer, I'm not going to, should I say his name? Jochen Kempf, if I pronounced that right.
Sounds right.
And he has suggested that the proposed site, which is at Billy Lights Point,
Yes.
he said that's the worst choice of location in the region.
Oh.
He said it's a very sheltered spot and hypersaline water, so the water they pump out of the desal plant back into the ocean, would be difficult to disperse into the sea.
Right.
And they're also talking about it is in close proximity to Boston and Proper Bays and the fishing and seafood companies located there. So it could cause algal blooms, it could kill off the seagrasses and result in a salty layer of water creeping along the seafloor affecting oxygen levels.
Oh, jeez.
So Eyre Peninsula Seafoods Executive Director Andrew Puglisi said the site was about 3 kilometres from his company's mussel farm. And he's got some big concerns.
Yes, he has, and rightly so.
Yeah, and that area, the aquaculture in the Port Lincoln area is worth about $220 million per annum to the state.
Yes.
So certainly something we should be looking after, Diz.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. We don't want to pump down into a sheltered bay, do you?
No. Look after the mussels, the kingfish, the tuna over there, the whole lot.
Yeah. So good on Jochen.
Is that how you say that?
I think
Did I do a bad job?
I think it might be a silent J.
Okay. Look,
But good
I'm not
on
that
Jochen,
multicultural with my pronunciation.
for getting in there, voicing the opinion. I'm sure the proper due diligence will be done.
Yep.
Righty, good news story, mate.
Certainly is, Diz.
Moving on to a bad news story, though, Rody.
Oh, look, this is good and bad.
Yeah, you're right. It is good and bad. We don't like reporting on this because we'd like to see it not happen.
Yep.
But we feel obliged to just be a voice of the people.
It's a bit of a warning, isn't it, Diz? So this is, PIRSA has put up a few recent fines and recent detections by fisheries officers. And this is since we talked about previously in another episode, Diz, about since the fines were increased.
Yes.
So it includes a 52-year-old man who was found in possession of 52 King George whiting at Port Hughes. The daily bag limit is 10. So I'm not sure what we think about that. That's 5 times the limit. So that matter is being considered for prosecution. There's also a fellow who had 110 squid at the Ardrossan boat ramp. Ooh, that's a lot.
That is
Someone,
way too many.
another couple had 24 King George whiting, so they were only. So those first two, are still being considered. What the fine and the penalty that'll be considered for prosecution.
Yes.
This one copped a $986 fine.
Yes.
This couple went 4 whiting over the bag limit.
Yes.
So good to see them getting a $1,000 whack.
Yeah,
Because that would have been much less under the previous fine system.
50, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
No.
But anyway, good to see some bigger fines. And obviously those first couple we talked about, the 110 squid and the 52 whiting, I think they will end up in court. Mm-hmm. And I think they will end up in a lot of trouble.
And we hope the book gets thrown at them.
So it says here, this is a quote from David Basham. Road fishers are now caught doing the wrong thing will have significant hit to the hip pocket. Those who exceed the limits can expect to be caught at expiations or court-imposed penalties of up to 20 grand.
Yes.
So you'd hope those first two are sort of up in that upper echelon.
You would, Rhodey.
Is that fair?
Look, that rolls over very nicely into our special guest.
All right, dears, we are very lucky to be joined by Minister David Basham, the Minister for Primary Industries and Regional Development. David, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, David, for coming on for your second time on our podcast. We really appreciate you giving up your time again for us, and we'll just run through some quick questions, if that's okay with you, of some of our listeners who have put forth some questions.
Sure.
So, Minister, the Marfac elections, there's been a lot happening in that space. Can you give us some insight into who might be leaving the Marfac and the kind of person that you'd like to join that committee?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that rec fishers get involved. This is a great opportunity to have a say, and it's really, I think, by getting involved and having a say, you can shape the way you'd like to see rec fishing handled here in South Australia. I mean, it's important as a minister that I have people that can give me advice around the sector. So I think it's really pleasing to have that going forward. So there are a couple of existing members that are seeking re-election. So they're certainly in the gamut to be there going forward. But there is an opportunity for anyone to put their name forward and get involved.
So who are the ones that are up for re-election, David?
I don't have their names in front of me at the moment, but
that's okay.
All good.
That's all right.
And what would you rate the success of the first couple of years of the Marfac? Do you think it's been a successful operation so far?
I think the work, certainly in the last 12 months, they've done some great work, developing the strategy for the sector is one of the key things I asked them to do, and I think that's a really key thing to have there as a guide to set out the way we'd like to see the sector develop. Understanding that we've looked at lots of different things, including fishing licences, etc. Ruled them out. There's not support for them across the board, but we need to see how we can actually make sure that enough funds are going into the sector to actually deliver what it needs to, and we're also able to have a sustainable fishing sector out there.
Okay, so did you say, David, that the fishing licence has been ruled out completely?
Yeah, it's been ruled out by them, and there's certainly not support, and something that government's always said is unless there's overwhelming support, it's not something that we would bring forward. Yeah. It's ruled out.
All good. All right, thanks for that, David. And what about the other thing to do with the Marfac we wanted to talk about is when will you've got some representatives to put forward onto the Marine Scale Fishery Management Advisory Committee, is that right?
Yeah, so we certainly want some involvement there as well, just so that we are able to monitor the sector well across both the commercial and the rec sector. Both are important in this space. We've had a huge reform in the commercial sector, paying out about 100 fishermen to leave that sector, and so there's been some consolidation there. But we've got 4 key species that we've now got quotas in the commercial sector that we need to make sure that we don't stress them by overfishing through the rec sector either. It's important that we have great connections.
So can you tell us at all who the Marfac representatives will be on that committee, or a time frame on when that'll be decided?
Again, I don't have that right in front of me at the moment, but it is important that we get it right, and it's imminent that we're heading down that path. It's important that we actually make sure that there is clear understanding of that rec sector in the commercial sector and setting those total allowable catches for both.
Yeah, absolutely. We completely agree there. Minister, I just want to move on to another topic. You might have been inundated with letters, and yourself and Minister Wingard as well, around recently there's been a lot of discussion about fishing being recognised as a sport. I sort of personally we've seen some, in other states recently, Queensland commissioned a report through the fisheries around the value that it can demonstrate for the economy. And I guess it'd just be nice to get some comments from yourself around why you think fishing isn't recognised as a sport and whether that's something you'll entertain.
Certainly something that has to be considered by Mr Wingard in his portfolio, whether he wants to consider it a sport. certainly under my watch at the moment, as part of fishing generally. And so it's important that we make sure that it can receive the funding it needs and the support it needs, and see what opportunities are out there. Just labelling it a sport to get funding is not necessary to happen. We can find hopefully funding either by support from fishermen themselves or from the tackle industry or anyone else involved in the sector to make sure that we're actually able to invest in this space, as well as government investing in this space. So to me, it's not the need to label it something to actually achieve an outcome.
So would you be in favour for it becoming a sport, David?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Would you be in favour of fishing being considered a sport?
Well, to me it is a sport, but it doesn't need to be labelled such just to get funding.
Okay, yeah, no worries. All right, moving on, David, we just want to talk about the kingfish issue that's been going on for a little while. We're just interested. We're passionate about the species and want to protect it as best we can. And obviously we don't want it heading down the same path as the snapper, being overfished and having to be a closure. We were just having a look at some of the numbers from the 2014 report that a lot of this is based upon. And we've noticed here that there's the number harvested for the yellowtail kingfish is 7,764 with a standard error of 7,094. So it's a very big percentage as the standard error. Do you think it's right to be making these decisions based on the kingfish fishery based on, almost a 90% error rate?
Well, it's not really based on that at all, really. So it's very much based on the catch history from the commercial sector as well that has been ongoing. So any commercial catches in this space, they have to report those catches. So we have a great idea of what the commercial sector is catching at any particular time. There's been no significant change in numbers over recent years, one way or the other, and we believe this is a sustainable fishery. Okay,
so what about the 200 tonnes of recreational kingfish catch that's being quoted as what the Recs catch? It seems a lot for 10,000 20 kilo kingfish to be caught and kept, to me, from what I know about fishing. Do you think that's accurate?
Well, that's our biggest problem in actually knowing what wreck fishers catch. And to me, we've seen, particularly in the southeast snapper fishery, where we've mandated the reporting of any snapper catches being reported. That's given us some of the best data we've probably ever had in actually knowing when, who and how those fish are being caught and where they've been caught. We've got these easy ways to report now, by making a registration on phones, etc. As I said, commercial fishermen have to report what they catch. We might have to head down that path in particularly key species going forward, that people need to log those catches so we can actually have accurate data of what's been caught.
Yeah, it's a great point you make, Minister Basham, because it was another question of one of our listeners to ask about why the PIRSA app is still requesting to be recording catches after the survey and during the southeast, with the snapper with regards to that. And without answering the question for you, I suppose, from a recreational fishing perspective, when we do see some of these numbers and find them, almost ridiculous, and very difficult to follow, I think it's a great point that you make, and a commitment from yourself and your government and the government around maintaining that or continuing it, so we are basing these decisions off good, accurate data is exceptionally important, because then we won't have these instances where species are banned from being caught and those sorts of things.
Oh, exactly. The more accurate the data we've got, the more tweaking we can do to make sure that the fishing sector is sustainable across all those species. To me, as I said, we've got good data in relation to the commercials. The gap is the rec sector, and the reporting through phone surveys, etc., certainly doesn't give a great, accurate answer. Whereas, as I said, with the snapper reporting. We've seen really good reporting by fishermen. That's fantastic. They're getting out there and enjoying the catch, but just as great, they're actually reporting what they're catching, so we can say, well, now it's time to stop because we don't want to overfish it.
So do you think, David, that that'll spread sort of across other species and it'll be, compulsory for us to record all our catches on an app, or all our catches of the particular, your kingfish, your whiting, those select species? Do you think that's where it's heading, David?
I think there's a fair chance it could head that way, particularly on the key species. The marine scale fishers, have their, the snapper, the whiting, the calamari, and another, which is escaping my mind.
Garfish, I think.
They have those species that they've got that are now under quota. So we need to make sure that we protect those species, and just protecting it from the commercial sector isn't the only thing that we need to do. So we need to possibly go down the path of looking to see what we can do in this space in the rec sector. Something that MARFAC are investigating, and it certainly would be something that I would be very keen to hear their thoughts on.
Yes, well, certainly good to hear, David, that you sound very committed to getting better numbers to make these decisions. And look, we're all in support for an even, fair balance between rec and commercial fishing, and we just want to know that the numbers are accurate, which sounds like you're on board with that as well.
Yeah, I think it's so important to everyone to have accurate data, and if it's currently being completely abused by one sector or the other, we end up in trouble. So if we can get accurate data and get good data, then it makes it so much easier, and everyone knows what they need to work to.
Yes,
that's
beautiful.
Right. You've been very generous with your time, Minister Basham. Thank you very much for answering the questions, and we look forward to seeing what's happening in this space over the coming months.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Bye.
David.
Okay, cheers, guys.
Dear's bloody good to hear from David, wasn't it?
Did we get a world exclusive?
I think we just got a world exclusive.
Unbelievable.
Did you hear what I heard?
I think I did.
He categorically ruled out a fishing licence.
That's going to shock a few of our listeners, I think.
And I don't think we've heard that come out of his mouth yet, have we, Diz?
No, I don't think we have either, Rhodey. And that'll be good to get across the socials, because as much as we have discussed the concept of a rec fishing licence, providing the funds being used in an appropriate way could be good for our sector, there's certainly been a very large majority of people against it.
Yeah, and it sounds like they've listened, Dizzy, and they are ruling out a rec licence.
Yes, that is.
A few other interesting answers there as well, Diz.
Yes, there are. I think it was pleasing to hear that the Minister was supportive of the idea of getting some more up-to-date research and data, because I think it's clear the data we've got is crap.
Yep, true.
And so, every effort needs to be taken in improving that. And providing the Minister is supportive of that, I think that's a step in the right direction.
And it was interesting that he said we're not really using that 2014 data.
I find that difficult to believe.
Because that's sort of the only thing I've ever heard quoted.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's probably the only thing that they could base it off.
Yeah. So anyway, a few interesting answers there, and I'm sure that will create a bit of discussion, including the world exclusive.
It will. We'll let our listeners decide, but it was nice to ask the Minister some questions to get some clarity around some of these topics. Ready?
Yeah, we didn't quite get the answer we were looking for on the fishing as a sport thing.
No, I don't think we did. To me, that certainly seemed as though it was a bit of a cop-out. I don't think that, it's clear that if fishing was to be recognised as a sport, then there would be some more funding opportunities.
Yeah.
And asking that to just be internalised by creating its own funding is...
It's probably not what we're after.
Probably not doing it for us.
No.
But I guess at the end of the day, as the Minister has said, this decision is ultimately part of Minister Wingard's portfolio.
Yeah.
And so that would be the decision made there.
And there's nothing stopping all those other sports that win grants from funding their own things as well.
Yeah, well, that's right.
You know, why should fishing miss out because we can fund our own whatever we want? Well, so can the bloody basketball club.
So can the Archery Association.
Yeah, exactly right. Anyway,
nice to speak with him, Rody. Let's move on to the fishing report because we have some very good catches of late.
we do, Diz.
Which is important that we talk about. And one exceptionally good barrel hunter.
Bodie Pannenberg.
And partner.
Jazz. Jazz is fishing on Instagram.
Exceptionally good fishing combo.
And Bodie Pannenberg fishing on Instagram.
Yes.
They've been running amok.
They have been.
They caught 2 barrels in a day.
Oh, no.
And I reckon they caught another one the week before that.
They've been on them.
They're on. So, of course, we'll touch on this in a minute, but they were using Charles-Hard lures. Sure you're not surprised, Diz?
Of course I'm not. You wouldn't go fishing with anything else. And what I do want to touch on Bodie, I believe that they have announced on Facebook they've got a couple of those, or at least one of those barrels in the cool room, available for anybody who hits them up a DM and they'll give them a kilo or 2 of fish.
Oh, fair enough. That's a good deed.
Extremely generous of
Are
them.
you sure about that, Diz? You're not sort of, sending 100 hungry podcast listeners around to their house for nothing?
Well, I'll tell you what, if we get Bodie on the next episode, he can have his piece with me if I have done that, right?
If he gets an angry mob at the front looking for tuna, I'm going to send him your way. So we are going to get Bodie Pannenberg on the podcast. We're hoping for the next episode, Diz.
Well, we hope so, but the way he's going, he might be out slaying the barrels.
Might be hooked up to a big tuna.
He might be recovering from pulling in, several 100-kilo fish. Anyway, we look forward to that. Rody, let's talk about our little strike mission across to the York Peninsula.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about it for too long because it was incredibly unsuccessful.
Yeah, we went to Port Vincent. We caught nothing. I caught one whiting. You caught nothing.
We came home.
End
of story.
Interesting though, Diz, because we did hear some reports of the other side of the peninsula, the Spencer Gulf.
Yep.
Some fellow anglers getting the bag quick time.
Boss
man from the Squid SA Squidders.
Adelaide Boat Squidders.
Close.
What you mean.
That one.
Boss man, they cleaned up.
And they did it bloody quickly.
We saw them live.
Yep.
They were live when it was dark, so they must have been out there, 6 early hours of the morning. They had the bag within a couple of hours.
And a couple others, I think they were getting them at Turton, Balgowan. So it sounds like that Gulf, the Spencer Gulf, was firing. But I also heard, I think it was Shane Mensforth might have put on his Instagram on the SA Angler page saying they struggled.
Okay.
A couple of others struggled in the Gulf of St Vincent's, Diz. So one side fired, the other side didn't.
Okay.
Just hypothesising, did the bloodworm run that was just previous to that?
Yes. Did
that have something to do with it?
Possibly, Rody.
That's learning for next year, isn't it?
Yes.
Maybe head over to Wallaroo after the bloodworm run next year.
Yes. It'd be nice to get some spots over there.
Yeah. Wallaroo's a nice spot.
Yeah. Rob Young or something like that.
Yeah, Diz. So our next bit of our fishing report is the local reservoirs firing on the Murray Cod. This is big.
This is exciting news, Rody.
Yeah, so I was very excited when I saw this pop up on the Facebook pages. So a fella named Matthew J. Gorn, he went out fishing in the Warren today when he posted this. He caught a cod. Diz.
Very good.
Very good.
Looks like a good size too.
Yeah, so looking on the map, it's just under 75 on his picture. So that's really good, Diz.
It is. It's a good fish.
So he said he trolled over the one spot in his kayak by the looks. And on the 10th run over the same location, the rod buckled over.
Yeah, right. Amazing.
And next minute, it was a big old cod. So 75 centimetres is pretty good.
It is good.
And
he said he struggled on the redfin.
Did he? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a bit breezy.
But anyway, good to see that the local reservoirs are firing on the natives because we've seen plenty of redfin photos. But nice to see some natives. And there was another native caught down at my Ponga Reservoir, Diz.
Yes.
So another Facebook post on the My Ponga Reservoir fishing page, Peter Halstead.
Yes.
His went 45 centimetres.
Yeah. Not a bad fish.
Really good. And obviously put back.
Yes.
Caught it on a drop shotting a soft plastic in about 10 metres.
Yes.
So that's really good, Diz, to see a couple of the local South Australian reservoirs firing up.
Yeah, and I drove past the Happy Valley Reservoir.
Yes.
Brody, not too long ago.
Friend of the show, Dan Way, heavily involved down there.
Yeah, a lot of work happening there, mate.
And that's later on this year, I think that
I
opens
think
up,
they're
Diz.
hoping end of the year.
Yep.
No doubt if we do get some COVID, that will waylay things a bit, so we're hopeful that doesn't happen, but end of the year would be great.
Let's plan for the best, though, Diz.
Absolutely. And just one thing I did want to touch on in the fishing report was if you do want to go and just get some of these local stories about where they're catching them, they might not give you the GPS marks, but they'll spin a good yarn with you.
Yeah.
Where would you go on a Friday evening?
Don't know, Diz. Would you go to the pub?
Well, yeah, you might.
Yeah,
But
what else?
I'll tell you a better spot. It's to get yourself down, catch up with Dan and the boys down at Let's Go Fishing and treat yourself to a sausage sizzle with the boys and the girls.
And it's kept firing during winter, that little event.
I know. They were always very much, weather permitting, but you look at it today. Great weather, lovely
Beautiful.
afternoon,
Yeah.
nice to get down there. Things are only going to improve. And so, yeah, basically, if you're at a bit of a loose end or you're not up to much after work on a Friday, get down there, support it's a childhood cancer
Yeah, Millsy.
foundation, Millsy.
The Onka Stomper.
Yeah, raising
It all
funds
goes
for the
into that
Onka.
fund.
And there's a few good prizes up for grabs every week.
And you touched on the weather, Diz. That almost could have been my orange.
Yeah,
We've just had a couple of nice spring days sneaking in.
nice to get a taste of it,
And it
isn't
gets you quite optimistic about what's to come.
It does. It does. All right, that rounds out the fishing report, Rody, and just about does us for today's episode. Except we do have our very important tackle segment.
Yeah, I thought you were about to cut me off then, Diz.
No, I said just about.
Jesus. Anyway, we are going to go back to an old faithful this week. After your effort last week on the, what was it? Some sort of snaplock bag you talked about? Is that what did you talk about Glad bags? Those Glad brand, the seal bags?
Did I talk about the humble vacuum sealer?
No, you talked about them bloody dry bags. It's a
I
glorified
did.
snaplock bag.
I talked about the humble dry bag.
Glorified snaplock bags. Anyway, we're going back to an old faithful. Diz, this would be remiss of us not to mention.
Yes.
We talked about Jazz and Bodie getting into the barrels in a big way over the last few weeks.
Yep.
What bait were they using, Diz?
Well, it's no surprise, mate.
They had the Troll So Hard lures. This particular fish I'm looking at now went 94 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
And they got it on the 8.5-inch invert.
Yep.
In the UV colour.
Yeah.
Looks bloody good, Diz.
It does. And naturally, you would hit up the great man, Flacky.
Yes.
Control So Hard for that.
Yes.
He's done a lot of barrel lures, and they're proven lures.
Yeah. So
They get the barrels.
the invert lure did the goods for them. I've also seen on the Troll So Hard page, they're sending out, they can put together a pack for you to set up your whole spread.
Seems sensible.
Does. I like the ones that sort of mimic the flying fish. They've got the wings out the side.
Yes. Yeah.
Not sure if wings is the official term.
No, that's right.
Is it wings?
I don't know. I'm sure Flatman will comment if he's not happy with you referring to his lure as
Should we run with wings for now until we're told otherwise? Anyway, good on Jazz and Bodie for getting into the fish.
Yep.
And
hopefully get a story out of it.
good on Flacky for producing the Troll So Hard lures.
Yes.
But yes, we'll
Fantastic
will
lures.
try our best to get Bodie on the next episode, Diz, to spin a yarn about the barrels.
And if you can't get down to the southeast or down that way to chase the barrels, you still hit him up for your school tuna because it really isn't going to be that long.
The Troll So Hard.
Yeah, it's not going to be long.
Look, the water temperatures will warm up from here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree.
end of the year, everyone goes mad at Christmas time, all the rest of it.
Yeah, you want to get in the early season barrels before Victor's mayhem.
That's right, you do. Absolutely. All right, Roddy, well done, mate.
Yeah, guys, hit us up on the socials.
Yeah.
Tag us in your pictures.
Yep.
Hit us up with your recommendations for the Eyre Peninsula.
Especially
Streaky
as the
Bay.
weather starts getting better, make sure you're getting out there. Tag us in your posts.
Springtime's here.
Hit us
almost.
up for a cat. Time to get your stubbies. You're going to need stubbies because beers start getting warm.
Yeah.
Especially
always.
if you like Roddy and you sit on for 3 days.
Yeah, good story, Diz. All right, thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thanks to David Basham for coming on, and Diz, thanks for, I think it was a solid effort from you tonight.
Yeah, I thought I brought the energy.
All right, guys, see you later.
See ya.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.